Lori Jo here with another minute or two or five of things I've learned over 40 years in ministry. And this is along the lines of, what are you reading? Most of you know I do a lot of reading, a lot of studying. I enjoy it, as a matter of fact. And the main part of my living area, the main hallway, is lined with bookshelves. And so to ask me that question is kind of like, I know there's a few hundred, thousand down here. But what I want to be able to do is share with you a couple of books and reading resources that are absolutely critical, in my estimation, as far as ministry is concerned. And I'll give you just a couple notes on each and then let you digest a little bit, go from there. And the first one is this one right here, A Tale of Three Kings. This is one that I have used personally a number of times over the years. It's one that I have recommended so many times. I can't tell you how many times, specifically for those times and those seasons where we have been hurt in ministry somehow, or where we've been tempted to rise up to defend ourselves in ministry and realize it's probably not going to go very well. Two of the things that Gene Edwards brings out in here, things that I love a lot. The first is the statement, "In my youth, I refused to be an Absalom, and in my old age, I will not become a Saul." It's the words of David. And it's just very, very powerful about living a life of integrity and honoring those around you, no matter what their choices are. The other thing that I want to bring out is, in the back it says, what do you do when someone throws a spear at you? And the teaching in here is how to not become a thrower of spears. Very, very good stuff. I highly recommend that for anybody in ministry. Honestly, anybody who follows Jesus, who wants to grow deeper in your own personal life, and especially allow the Lord to defend you and to heal some wounds. The other one is this book right here. It's called The Choice. It is literally the most marked up book that I have as far as different studies, different times I've gone through it. It is also the most recommended when it comes to either staffs that I have had the privilege of leading, or it is in consultation or doing strategic planning with other ministries. And the two things that I'll give you out of there, the first is the title. It talks about making a choice between the kingdom path and the common path. In other words, the common path being what a lot of people choose throughout their life, including, unfortunately, many churches and ministries, to evaluate success based on what they see and what the world looks at. The other way, the other path is the kingdom path, to be focusing all of our energies on what is it that is moving God's kingdom forward and not our own. And what is it that would amplify kingdom focus, kingdom principles, kingdom work? It is the choice between the common path and the kingdom path. And one of the key principles that is in here is how we measure success. Do we measure it by those things that other people can see and that they might measure according to the world's metrics and their system? Or do we measure it by obedience to Jesus? The word says to obey is better than sacrifice, and he desires us to be obedient to his commands. Do we measure our success based on, have we been obedient to what God has called us to do, no matter what it looks like outside, no matter what it looks like to somebody else? When God says to do something, do we do it and then consider it successful no matter what happens? That's part of the choice. The single most important reading material is this one right here. You knew I was going to come to this. There's absolutely no other book that is more important to be reading on a not only consistent basis, but a daily basis than this one right here. There was a time when we were doing a training for people who are considering ministry, and a lady said at the end of it, she said, that woman, she was referencing me, that woman acts like the Bible has the answer to everything. And I gotta tell you, what she thought was a dig and was a criticism, when I heard that, I went, yes, she gets it. Guys, there is no better piece of written material to study than this right here. Literally, from the time you get up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night, to meditate on this word. When I go back to different study Bibles, I can look and see not only the underlines and stuff like that, but also there's dates in here, there's names in here that can tell me, kind of like a diary of the different seasons that God has walked me through. Guys, there is no better substitute, there is no better reading material than this book right here. Whatever translation you prefer, I would suggest getting one that is as close to the original as possible. A lot of my personal study is either New King James or it's ESV. I do from time to time prefer some of the what I would call paraphrases, like the New Living Translation or the Message, sometimes Passion. Those things that just give you a different way to word it. When it comes to being true to the Word, go to the Word. Because guys, when it comes to life and ministry, there's no better source to be reading from than the author of your life, the author of what we see, the author of literally everything for all of eternity. This book right here, the best reading material for anyone's life who wants to follow Jesus, for any ministry, for any type of missionary work, for your church. This has got to be key. Amen.